Mario, the mustachio hero, the plumber in red, Mr. Video Games himself. I don't need to explain who he is and what life he lives in multiple games and spin-offs he stars in. Sports, racing, puzzles, educational typing games. He even got JRPGs, starting with Super Mario RPG. And for every Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door, or Mario and Luigi's Bowser's Inside Story, you have a Paper Mario Sticker Star, or a Mario and Luigi's Bowser's Inside Story plus Bowser Jr.'s Journey. But imagine, pray tell, a tabletop role-playing game featuring Mario. Well, it'd probably be a mix of Mario Party, Amiibo Party, and those Lego Mario kits. And it would cost the both combined prices. So instead, let's bring Mario and his party to our pen and paper dice rolling TTRPGs. Oh, not Dungeons and Dragons. We're using DC20. DC20 is a TTRPG currently in beta created by the YouTuber Dungeon Coach, hence the name of the game. The game promises faster, more engaging combat, more meaningful choices, and varied and viable character customization. Today we are making some characters from the Mario franchise using 0.9.5 rules, and we are starting with Kamek.
You're kidding, right? It's Mario.
Let's go!
Despite his looks, our man Mario is defined as a human. Just the cartoony one. But is he a small human with a capital S? Mario's size varies from his appearances. He starts out small in the mainline 2D platformers and then gets big with a super mushroom. But he's always appearing like he's eaten a super mushroom in cutscenes and in other games, being short compared to everyone else. The ancestry trait, small, is a common negative trait that gives us an extra perk. But then it also gives us disadvantage to grapple, push, move, or knock over medium creatures. And we'll be unable to do that to any large creatures. So I'm just gonna say he is short, but not small. And the super mushroom makes him tall, but not large. He is just medium. With that being said, here are all the human traits I'm picking for him. And then we'll pick a second ancestry later. We then look at attributes. Yeah, he's strong, yeah, he's agile, but I want to make his best stat charisma. He has the heart of gold, pure determination, and a clean mustache. He is a mascot after all. I'll make his might 2, agility 1, and intelligence -1. I could have made his intelligence -2, because we really don't need a lot of skills, but let's not make him stupid. He's eventually going to get his doctorate. We'll then give him acrobatics, athletics, influence, and insight as his mastered skills. And we have skill expertise that we're using on athletics, because this is used for both grapple checks, climbing checks, and jumping checks. And we'll give him the custom trade, plumbing, and we'll make that his expertise. We're also going to pick up carpentry for his days working on the wrecking crew, and vehicle, because I'm pretty sure he's a professional kart racer. Now, this whole time, you're probably thinking, what class are we making him? I'll give you a hint. It starts with M.
Monkey.
Yep, this is the class all about running, jumping, punching, and kicking. We can hand wave away any of that Eastern mysticism. The Monk's Training class feature will give his unarmed strikes 1 bludgeoning damage with the added impact effect. This is his punches and kicks, but if you get a running start and jump, you can pretend it's a stomping attack too. He also regains his stamina whenever he hits a foe with his melee attack, or succeeds an athletics or acrobatics check. He then gets +2 precision defense, +1 speed and jump distance, as long as he's not wearing armor. And his overalls do not count as armor, no matter how high quality it is. It's also important to mention that this feature also changes the base jump distance to your prime modifier, which is charisma, rather than agility. And your prime modifier is also added to your hit bonus and save DC. You don't need dexterity and wisdom to be a monk. He can also run on water and walls, which... No, that's a different mascot platformer power. Feel free to ignore this, as well as the flavor feature, Meditation. Given Mario's idle animation has him falling asleep, I don't think he'll be good at it. The big monk feature is Monk's Stance. We get to pick 2 of these stances for Mario to shift between at the start of his turn. In order to make the hit and run playstyle work, we're going with Wolf Stance. This gives him advantage on opportunity attacks and forces disadvantage on foes' opportunity attacks. It also gives him 1 space of movement after attacking, so he can run and jump with 1 action point, land on the foe and make an unarmed attack with 1 action point, and then move off the foe to an adjacent space and use a remaining movement to get away, triggering an opportunity attack that likely won't hit. The second stance I want is Mantis Stance. This is the Grappler Stance. On top of having advantage in grappling contests, he will get a reduced action point cost to do grapple maneuvers. I picked this one because of Super Smash Bros., Super Mario 2's amazing overhead carry, and the famous Bowser throw.
So long, Bowser!
Speaking of, we need to get Mario some maneuvers. The grapple maneuver throw is what we'd expect, and the slam is the closest to the down throw. We'll also get him swap, protect, and taunt. He's going to be dealing enough damage, and his weapons don't really have a matching style. Oh, right, weapons. What should we get him? Well, aside from his fists, monks get 3 weapons to start with 1 being 3 copies of the same throwing weapon. The obvious pick is the hammer. Ever since the Donkey Kong arcade, Jumpman has been using a hammer. He even uses them in the 2 RPG games series as methods to avoid spiked baddies. The second could be smaller hammers from the Hambro suit, but I picked the boomerang from the Boomerang Flower. And the last weapon will be Excalibur, the plumber snake from the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, which will be a whip with a nice reach option if you're done doing hit and runs. Okay, we're on to level 2. Uncharted territories for this channel, so buckle up! Level 2 gives us another class feature, a talent, and a path point. For the monk, that gives us the class feature, Spiritual Balance, which gives him Ki, as in K-I, not K-E-Y. He gets a number of Ki points that are equal to his stamina points, and whenever he spends the stamina points, he regains his Ki points. We can rename Ki points to focus points if you want, or just think of these as an outside force of omnipotent observers that have seen Mario's failed lives and takes control to avoid his demise. You know, the gamers. He can spend these Ki points on the following. Uncanny Dodge just makes it so that any attack against them has disadvantage. It's an effective emergency dodge. There's Slow Fall, which reduces all fall damage by his level. In the 2D Marios, there's no fall damage, and in the 3D Marios, you can do a ground pound to negate it. Finally, there's Deflect Attack, which can let you catch a physical projectile that misses you, and then do an attack check to throw it to another creature. Mario has reflected projectiles in specific situations in his games, but the most iconic is his Super Cape special from Super Smash Bros. Of course, you can't return it back to the sender. Yet. Now for the talent. This is an optional ability or upgrade you can pick from, like feats in D&D. But while there are some general talents, the big one is the multi-class talent that lets you pick one class feature from another class, as long as it's from level 1, or from level 2 when you get another talent at level 4. And for convenience, I'm picking a feature I talked about in my previous video, Champion's Fighting Spirit. Not only does this give Mario second wind and a little comeback, his combat readiness advance will let him save 1 action point that he would have spent to move on anything else. So 4 action points and 6 movement. He can spend another action point to move even more, use the jump action, try and get higher than normal, use the grapple action, or just attack multiple times. He also gets advantage on the first jump or grapple check he makes during combat. Now, I wouldn't recommend you use Brace, because he can spend Ki points to dodge, or his multiple grit points to give himself advantage on saves. We now get 1 path point to spend and get 1 more stamina point, another maneuver, and a technique. I'll pick the body block grapple maneuver, because he uses shells and enemies he carries around as shields in multiple games. The technique will be Heroic Leap. This can be his triple jump into a ground pound. This will cost 1 action point and 1 stamina point to move up to your speed in spaces, increase the jump distance by 1, and make an attack check against an unfortunate target, while also forcing them to make a physical save to avoid being knocked prone. All this with effectively 2 action point cost compared to what would be 3. He can then spend more stamina points to transfer all the fall damage he would have taken into the target, or spend another action point and stamina point to make an area of effect attack on all adjacent creatures to where you land. Man, if that was level 2, what could possibly be at level 3? Plus 1 attribute, that's going to agility. Plus 1 skill point, so medicine, because of Dr. Mario. Plus 1 trade point, illustrator, because of Mario Paint. Plus 1 stamina. Oh, now he can regain 2 stamina points from punching people, because we round up. And we get 3 key points now too. And another technique. I'll pick Whirlwind, which will have him spend 2 action points and 1 stamina to spin attack all creatures within 1 space radius. Doing this with a hammer is going to be really nice. Am I forgetting something? Oh, subclass! Each class has 2 subclasses, with a third coming by the time of the official release. These subclasses are really nuts, with one making you an untouchable gymnast, the other having you astral project your soul to make ghost arms, and the third might be a healer. Yeah, none of these are Mario. Thankfully, there is a 4th option, the Paragon. This is the option you pick when you want the most vanilla, bare-bones core principle subclass. You can think of Paragon Monk as being the same as D&D's Open Hand Monk. As a Paragon Monk, Mario must pick a Monk talent, and coincidentally, 2 Monk talents have been unlocked at this level. Internal damage is like Open Hand Monk's late game feature that has you say, "Omae wa mou shindeiru." Nani? Yeah, no thanks, don't need that. While the other is Steel Fist. Iron Fist was taken. This will make Mario's unarmed strikes deal 2 damage, but no longer has the impact property. You can also spend 1 SP to make a follow-up unarmed strike that isn't affected by the multiple check penalty. This is the Fury of Blows feature you may have been looking for. Now his fist deals as much damage as the hammer, but he can attack after using the hammer too. Subclasses also get an extra flavor feature too, but Paragon classes just get an additional trade point. Theater, because of Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix. We now reach level 4. Mario gets another talent, another path point, and 2 ancestry points. For ancestry points, now is our time to pick another ancestry from the 2 that we start with. If there is a trait that just fits the character, we can excuse the fact that he's not part elf or whatever in dozens of ways described in the handbook. And looking through all these ancestries, I think Halfling might be the most fitting, and it doesn't overlap with our other monk features. It's funny, we could have made him small now. Anyway, let's pick Halfling Bravery, giving him advantage against being intimidated, rattled, or frightened. Next is the Path Point. Instead of getting another maneuver, we're spending it on the Spellcaster path to get 2 mana points, 1 cantrip and 1 spell, even if we are a martial class. We do now have to pick another class to borrow their spell list from, and I picked Druid. It has Firebolt, which will be our Fire Flower, Frostbolt, which will be our Ice Flower, and other elemental spells, plus the healing spells and spells to grow vines. But now it's time for the big talent that will separate Mario from all other monk builds. Ladies, gentlemen, and others, introducing Druid's Wild Form. This feature will let you transform into animals, and if you don't know, Mario has a wide variety of power-ups, with most being animal-themed. The man just finds wild fruits and plants in his world that give him superpowered onesies. He could spend 1 mana point to give himself a wild form, or you can think of this as him pulling a power-up from his hammer space overall pocket, that he can then use, and then swap back to his normal form with 1 action point. He gets 3 temporary hit points that, when you lose those HP, you then lose the wild form, just like how you would lose a power-up. While in the form, his might and agility are set to 1, his PD and AD are set to 12, and his skill masteries are untouched. He gains natural weapons that deal 1 physical damage of your choice, but you lose all your equipment. And importantly, you lose all your ancestry traits, class features, and talents, excluding those of the druid, and are unable to cast spells or perform techniques. Considering Mario can't be in a cat suit and shoot fireballs, it's not much of an issue. And before you go looking for monster stat blocks to transform into, there isn't any. You instead have to build an animal through wild form traits and beastborn traits from the beastborn ancestry. You get 3 trait points, but since we've waited for a level 4, the mana spend limit has increased, so we can spend 2 mana at the start of our day to get a wild form with 5 trait points. And the crazy thing is that we can get a 5 trait point worth wild form for free after a long rest. So that's 2 wild forms to pick each day. Or we can make 3 by just spending 1 mana on 2 of those wild forms. For our first example, Cat Mario, with his suit, can scratch foes, climb walls, and do a pounce attack. Scratching is already included, so 1 point for climb speed and 1 point for charge, a trait that gives him +1 damage if he moves 2 spaces in a straight line before attacking. So climb up high enough to land on foes 2 spaces away. You can handle trigonometry, right? And because we took away the monk training, we got 2 more points remaining. We will get him Swift, which increases his speed by 1, and Defensive, which will raise either his precision or area defense by 2. Both are wild form traits that would cost a Beastborn 2 trait points to get each, but instead it's 1. It's funny that at this level, Cat Mario has more PD than normal Mario. Our second example is Elephant Mario. With this full body transformation, we'll give him all the elephant's traits. We'll pick Powerful Build, which will make it so he is considered a large creature while still taking up 1 space. We'll increase his might by 2 and area defense by 2, and we'll pick up Prehensile Appendage. This is his trunk that he can use to carry objects that are 7.5 kilograms and push or grapple creatures. You can also use this as your natural weapon, but this doesn't mean that you're triple wielding weapons. And hopefully your GM will let you carry water in your trunk without a bucket. Our third example is Bee Mario. With this power-up, you can fly. Players' ability to fly is highly limited at early levels, as it takes 6 ancestry points to get the ability to fly, by requiring 3 trait points worth of 2 points each. If we could get a negative trait, we'll be fine, but we can't with Wild Forms rules. The first trait we need is Glide Speed. With this, we don't take any fall damage during a controlled fall, and if we end our turn in mid-air, you can control fall 4 spaces. Control fall just means you were not pushed forcefully off a cliff or into the air. You can also move horizontally in the air at an amount equal to your ground speed. Then there's Limited Flight, which lets you spend 2 spaces of movement to ascend 1 space vertically, and you can end your turn mid-air, maintaining altitude. Bee Mario still can't stay in the air indefinitely, but it's close enough. We'll also get him the ability to climb sticky honeycomb walls and fuzzy queen bee butts. Anywho, here's a little montage of all the power-ups I thought of using this system. Note that not all of these are animal power-ups. You can make power-ups for most of these transformations. Okie dokie, that's Mario. A really mobile monk with a fun wild shape changing gimmick. I could end it here, but there is another character we could do that won't take too long. Not you!
Luigi time!
Luigi, the second player, the green missile, the ghost cleaner, the Ouija. What started as a palette swap became a beloved character, all thanks to his starring role in Luigi's Mansion. And also a bunch of cartoons and spin-offs too, but this is when Nintendo made Luigi a canon coward. Because Luigi has basically all the same powers as Mario, I am copying and pasting Mario's build and working with that. First, his attributes and skills are changing while making Luigi's prime stat, agility, his charisma is -1, and his intelligence is 1. And again, I could make Luigi's charisma -2, but we don't want to remove all his riz. His skills are going to be athletics and acrobatics, and also stealth, trickery, investigation, and medicine. Also, we're going to give him occultism instead of illustrator as a trade, because of all that busting he does. I'm swapping skill expertise for the halfling's elusive trait, making it so that he needs to spend only 1 action point to avoid opportunity attacks rather than making them have disadvantage. Because of this, we're swapping out Wolf Stance for Gazelle Stance, which will give him 1 more movement, ignore difficult terrain, and advantage on agility saves and acrobatics checks. We're swapping the Plumber Snake for a Plunger, which will give him reach and capture a weapon property, like a net. That's the closest thing we're going to get to a Poltergeist 3000, and it should work like his Tether Grab in Smash. Instead of Fighting Spirit, I'm giving him Roguish Finesse. Cunning action lets him effectively get a better wolf stance, as he can move half his speed in spaces and avoid opportunity attacks with a single action point. If he is in Gazelle stance, that is half of 7 rounded up to 4. It's not that action point conservative as Mario, but it lets him punctuate his cowardly ability. The added expertise is a help too, and we can use that to give him expertise on acrobatics and stealth. If your GM allows for cartoony physics, they can allow for an acrobatics check to see if he can flutter jump, spin like a copter, or get flattened into a pancake. At 3rd level, instead of Steel Fist, I'm going to give him the not-so-secret 3rd Monk talent that we could have picked at level 2.
Expanded Monk Stance.
This will give him 2 more stances to swap between. Since Mario got a damage increase, we will give Luigi the Bear Stance, which will increase the damage of heavy hits on melee attacks by 1. This stacks with the impact of his fists and in other weapons, like his hammer. It also gives him advantage on the next immediate attack if the first attack misses, excusing the multiple action penalty like when Mario spends a stamina point, but he isn't restricted to his fists. This makes his high rolls better, but his normal hits less powerful, less consistent. For those from Smash, you gotta get that sweet spot. Then there's Turtle Stance. When he is unable to get away, he will get into a huddle position and avoid taking any damage. His speed will be reduced to 1, but will gain physical damage reduction, elemental damage reduction, and mystical damage reduction, having the damage of all hits, but not heavy hits. With the bonus to Might Save and the advantage against being knocked prone, he'll be fine. But then, here's the kicker. This talent also now lets you swap stances for free once per round, when it would have cost you a stamina point. So he can Gazette in, swap to Bear, attack, disengage, then spend a stamina point to go into Turtle mode. And he can still use his key point on Uncanny Dodge too. Man, this is some cheese. Now, come the next time he gets a talent, he can get Steel Fist, while Mario can get Extended Monk Stances, for some even crazier tactics. And finally, at level 4, he still has Wild Form, but we're going to switch out Frostbolt for Shocking Grasp, as that is an ability he learns in Superstar Saga.
Thunder!
And we'll give him Depth Footwork to squeeze past foes, and Unbreakable to give him advantage on death saves. And that's Luigi. You take Mario, but you make him a skill monkey dodge tank who kites foes and gets big damage on a whim. Who could we do next? Well, there is an obvious choice. Someone who has been joining the bros more and more on adventures. And that is Princess Peach. Oh, come on! Is Peach in another castle? I guess we'll need to finish this in the next video. Well, if you enjoyed so far, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.